So here when we talk on this particular aspect, okay, so what do we understand here? That in the 6th century BC, just look at the question guys, in the 6th century BC, the shift from tribal identity to territorial allegiance was marked by what? Was it marked by the rise of Mahajanapadas, the decline of iron usage, the spread of Buddhism, or the emergence of the Varna system? So what do we actually understand in this particular question? So here you need to understand it. Just think on the rational point of view, whatever you have learnt up till now. So in the 6th century BC, the shift from tribal identity to territorial allegiance was marked by what? Okay, now just look at it, that which of the facts are correct in itself. Now which of the facts are correct? Decline of iron usage. After iron was discovered in about 1000 BC, 1000 BC, the iron usage, it did not decline but it increased. So that is why this option is wrong. Then the spread of Buddhism. So Buddhism, it was a philosophical and a religious thing, and because it is a philosophical and a religious thing, can we say at that point of time that this led to the emergence of the territorial allegiance? Why? Because territorial allegiance, it is a political factor. It is a political factor. Why? Because territory is what? Territory, it is kind of a state system. Okay, a political factor that was there. So automatically this does not become the answer. Emergence of Varna system. No, it happened in 1000 BC with the start of the later Vedic age, and once again it is a social factor, it is not a political factor. So once you eliminate these things, so what you get is the rise of Mahajanapadas. Why? Because it was with the Mahajanapadas that the later Vedic age, which had a tribal way of living, okay, the Vedic age which had a tribal way of living, now it was transitioning into the Mahajanapadas time period. Okay, now it was transitioning towards the Mahajanapadas at that point of time. Okay, so when it is transitioning to the Mahajanapadas, what do we understand here? That particular transition, all right, it is going to be political in nature. That particular transition, it was political in nature. So that is what we understand here. All right, then when we move to the next question guys, so just look at this. The Indian province annexed by Darius I of Persia in 1516 BC included which areas? So you just have to select one, and this can also be solved through the logical ways. Now what do you think can be the answer here? What do you think can be the answer here? Because you see, when we are talking about the province which was annexed by Darius, and Darius was a king of Persia. Now, where is Persia? If this is going to be India, okay, this was Pakistan, this was Afghanistan, and this was Iran. And Iran at that point of time, it was known as Persia. Okay, so the Persian annexation that we talk about, this particular Persian annexation, it will happen on the western coast of India. Okay, now let us just read the options. Eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. So Eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, they are coming in these locations. Entire Punjab and Bengal. Okay, so Punjab and Bengal. Punjab is here, okay, and Bengal is here. Then Sindh and Punjab west of Indus. So here there is the river Indus, and Sindh and Punjab west of Indus, and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. Himachal Pradesh is here, Kashmir is here. So which of the possible option do you think is the more logical explanation to this? That Darius, who was a ruler of Persia, would he have annexed something that is on the eastern part of India, or would he have annexed something that is on the western part of India? Why? Because when we are talking about 516 BC, in India, what stage was there? There were the Mahajanapadas, and these Mahajanapadas, there were 16 such Mahajanapadas here, right? And these Mahajanapadas, they were not that weak. They are going to be strong at that point of time. And in that strengthening aspect, how would have Darius annexed the eastern part? So that is where logic comes in. Okay, we do not know. We have never learned this. But in spite of not learning it, what are we doing? We are contemporary analyzing it. We are logically and rationally trying to understand that what could be possible. So with that logical explanation of ours, because we already have the conceptual understanding, right? So if we have the conceptual understanding, so we can automatically eliminate this particular point. All right, so the answer here, it is going to be Sindh and Punjab west of Indus. Why? Because it is the most logical application here. Then next, when we talk, which of the following marked the beginning of the second urbanization in India? Was it just read it, just try to solve it up. Okay, you might have solved it up, but yet. So here, when we talk on the which of the following marked the beginning of the second urbanization in India. Now, what do we know on this urbanization? Let's look at the options: painted grey ware, okay, northern black polished ware, chalcolithic ware, or the red ware. So these are what? These are the various types of pottery. Now, what is the question telling? The question is telling that from these following pottery types, okay, from these following pottery types, which one can be understand to be a part of the second urbanization? Okay, which one can be considered to be a part of second urbanization? Now, you might be aware on this particular aspect of urbanization. Okay, so if you are aware on this, so if I tell you this is the level of urbanization, for example, urban, this is a chart, and rural, and this is the time period: IVC, Mahajanapadas, Mauryas, post Maurya, Guptas, okay, and then it goes on. So, and here there is prehistoric. So, the prehistoric, it was rural in nature. Okay, so the prehistoric that we talk about, it is going to be, rural in nature. But the IVC, it was urban in nature. Okay, then there is going to be the Vedic age. Here I missed the Vedic age. Okay, so here there was the Vedic age also. So in the Vedic age, the scenario was once again rural. Then again in the Mahajanapadas, it was urban. So what do we understand? Just look at this trend. Okay, just look at this trend. So it is going up, it is coming down, it is again going up, and then it is going to continue in the urbanization. So when we are talking about the urbanization here, so the first urbanization, it is going to be during what? During the IVC. So the first urbanization, it is during the IVC, whereas the second urbanization, it is going to be there during Mahajanapadas. So here, this is the second urbanization, and let me also just tell you the third urbanization. So this is going to be of the particular Delhi Sultanate. The third urbanization is going to happen during Delhi Sultanate. Now here, which of the following potteries were a part of second urbanization? Second urbanization, that means from 600 BC onwards, that is Mahajanapadas. So when we are talking, just look at the pottery. What do we know about the Harappan pottery? Harappan, it was black and red ware pottery. Harappan pottery, it was black and red ware. So this is not the option. This was Harappan. Chalcolithic pottery, you know that it is prehistoric time period and it is not associated with the second urbanization. So Chalcolithic is also not there. Okay. Then when we talk about painted grey ware pottery, it was a pottery of the Vedic age. PGW, painted grey ware, it was a pottery of Vedic age. So even this is not the answer. And the remaining one is northern black polished ware. Because this is the pottery that was used by the Mahajanapadas and also by the Mauryas. Now, you, my dear friends, might have read that the northern polished grey ware, it was generally associated with the Mauryan dynasty. But Mauryas, they were those people who had overtaken the Mahajanapadas, right? So whatever traditions would have been played importantly during the Mahajanapadas time period, that would have been taken by the Mauryans also, right? So that is what we understand generally here. Okay, that is one thing. Now, this is how you have to use the conceptual analysis. The next one is according to Megasthenes. According to Megasthenes, the administration of Patliputra was carried out by whom? Just read this up. Just read this up, guys. Just read this up. Read this up. Okay. So I hope you have read it up. Now, here what do we understand? According to Megasthenes, the administration of Patliputra was carried out by whom? Now you know the basic facts, that who is Megasthenes, why he came to India, what all he is going to do, and the information that he is going to write in his book Indica. That information helps us, understand the Mauryan economy and the Mauryan administration. So when we talk on this, uh, the administration of Patliputra. Just look at the logic. So the administration of Patliputra, what was Patliputra? It was the capital and the capital of the Mauryans. So this capital, it was a city at that point of time. Okay. So the capital of Patliputra, it is going to be the city of that point of time. Now when we talk that Patliputra, okay, when we talk that Patliputra, it was the city of that point of time. So in a city, what type of administration would there have been? In the city, would there be a village elders? Obviously not. In a city, how would there be a village elders? Why? Because when we are talking about the Mauryans, they were also an urban people. So village elders would not be there. Would there be provincial governors in the city of Patliputra? Here, the king himself was there. So would the administration done by provincial governors? No, there were various provinces at that point of time where the provincial governors would have been there. So even this is not the answer. A single royal council, okay, this could have been. So here, once you have eliminated two, 50%, you are remaining with two. So here many of the aspirants would have been gotten confused. However, the answer here is 6 committees with 5 members each. That is what Megasthenes had mentioned within the particular, that is what Megasthenes had mentioned within the particular thing. The next one is, which of the following taxes were levied during the Mahajanapadas period? Bali, Bhaga and Shulka. Which of the following ones was levied during the Mahajanapadas? What do you understand from this? Okay, just read on this, guys. Just read on this. Bali, Bhaga and Shulka. So here when we are talking on this particular question, okay, so what can you understand? What can you understand from this particular form of question? Okay, so here what I want to tell you is that once when you understand, okay, once when you understand the art, okay, once when you understand the art of solving MCQs, it becomes very much easier for you to actually solve these particular questions. Okay, so here also what are we generally trying to do? We are trying to do is we are trying to solve things up. All right, so here I have always told you within your answers also that whenever you are going to read on something, you need to read it from a conceptual point of view. So here what did the examination do? Here the examination, it is going to ask you a question pertaining to it. All right, so here when we talk on this particular type of tax, okay, so what do we know about the taxes that were levied on the Mahajanapadas period? We know that Mahajanapadas, it was an urban area, and obviously it would have been levying taxes to sustain its urbanization, to create a state like system. Okay, so whenever such things are there, all right, so Bali, it was a kind of a voluntary tax. Bhaga, it was a tax that was given on produce. And the tax of Shulka, it was generally a tax that was, kind of the custom or the toll tax. So here the correct answer is going to be D, that is 1, 2 and 3. Now whenever such questions are given, you have to go with the general understanding on it. You have to go with the general understanding on this particular type of questions. Okay, that maybe this could also have been there. Maybe if we just select two, maybe in the future there could be like, no, even Shulka was given, so then this question would get wrong. So always go with the diverse perspective here. Okay, the next one, is, which of the following thinkers were associated with the Ajivika philosophy? Just think on this, friends. Just think on this. Which one of the following ones they were associated with the Ajivika philosophy? Okay. So here, when we talk, we know, what do we know about the Ajivika? Ajivika, they were a heterodox school whose founder, it is going to be Makali Gosala. The founder was Makali Gosala, and they were contemporary to Buddhism and Jainism. They were contemporary to them. We know this much. All right. Now, what do we understand is that here, Purana Kasapa, if you have read the philosophies in detail, this is a very factual aspect that there were multiple people who supported the Ajivika philosophy, and they are going to give their own viewpoints also. So it is both of these personalities who had contributed in it. So the answer becomes D. Now see, here there is no logical understanding. If you know the answer, you know the answer. There are some questions that will actually require the understanding of the facts that you have. Okay, if you do not have the facts, then it becomes very much difficult to solve such questions. So that is going to be there. The next one is, Which Mahajanpada was ruled by the Ganasangha and had Vaishali as its capital? So when we talk on this, now many of you, when you have read the Mahajanpadas, you might have seen that there were monarchies or monarchical form of governments, and there were republican form of governments. Okay, so the monarchies, they were there, and republicans, they were also known as Ghana Sangha form of governments, and they were generally there in the on the Himalayan foothills. Okay, the dynasties that were there on the Himalayan foothills, so they were those dynasties. Now at that point of time when we talk, you can just go on with it. Okay, that just understand, in the Magadha there were the dynasty, there were the various dynasties. Okay, that is the Haryanka dynasty was there, then there was the Sishunak dynasty, and then there was the Nanda dynasty. So there was a monarchy. Here, whenever you have read on Haryanka, you might have seen that King Prasenjit, he had married his the daughter to him. Okay, sorry, the sister to him. All right, then there was Avanti, you might have read on the Chanda Pradyota. So all of these three, they are going to be what? Monarchies. But it was Vajji which was the Ghana Sangha, and it was from these Ghana Sanghas only that Gautam Buddha and Vardhaman Mahavira, they had also come up. Gautam Buddha as well as Vardhaman Mahavira, they had also come up. So that is there. The next question when we talk, all right, so it is going to be that which of the following was a key feature of the Mauryan economic regulation according to the Arthashastra? Now think that which of the following statements could be positive, which of the following statements could be negative. You need to think on that. All right, which of the following statements could be positive and which can be negative. All right, so that is one another aspect. So here, when we talk on this, which of the following was a key feature of the Mauryan economic regulation according to the Arthashastra? Mauryan economic regulation according to the Arthashastra. So what do we know? State monopoly over all crafts means, what have I told you? Always keep that in mind. Extremes were something that you have to be very much cautious upon. Appointment of superintendents for economic activities, complete privatization of agriculture, ban on irrigation in peripheral regions. Now you yourself tell me that Mauryan economic regulation. So the Mauryan economy, it was very much advanced in nature and it was also flourishing. Now you have to think that which from the following will stop the flourishment of the Mauryan economy? Which from the following could act as a hindrance or act as a prohibition on the flourishment of the Mauryan economy? Okay, so here, if the state monopoly over all crafts would have been there, so would there have been private, participation in the economy? And if not, would there have been the thriving of the economy? No, obviously not. So this is extreme. A complete privatization of agriculture? No, because what would happen of the state ration? Okay, the state buffer stock of agriculture. So that would also not be there. If irrigation in the peripheral regions were banned, so that would lead to discrimination, right? And it would also impact the agricultural production that is there. So even that is not going to be the option. So here the option is going to be what? Appointment of superintendents for economic activities, because this is kind of a neutral thing and a positive thing also. All right, so that is going to be the another basic aspect that we try to understand from this major scenario. All right, so this is going to be there in this particular aspect.